All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ERSCA Belly Up Sports Series. Tonight, we are at Atlanta for the Days Gone by 200. I'm not David or Matt, but my name is Carlos Acosta, and joining alongside me is Matt Beamer. And you may have actually heard of Matt. Matt, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and well, let us get to know you while these drivers are undergoing qualifying.
Yeah, good evening, Carlos. It is a great honor to be here with you in a different role than I'm used to here in the booth, commentating on the race vice, actually attempting to drive one of these iRacing cars. It's a very difficult thing to do. But yes, I am Matt Beamer, host, 1/3 of the host of Ramblin' About Racing, our podcast that we cover all facets of racing. And this is just going to be a different opportunity for me to get a different aspect on the race and commentate this race with you. 133 laps at Atlanta should be fun.
Yeah, hopefully not with me. Dom should be here very, very soon, I am hoping. But until he's here, I'll be happy to just hop on in and commentate alongside Matt while we watch these drivers qualify. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and return back on the qualifying thingy information right there. So far at Atlanta, we got Chris Worrell, for the time being the pole sitter. And Matt, well, Atlanta is a track that many people have a blast in, including myself. Oh, no matter what you're racing, this is a track you cannot take lightly. It's one where you're mostly going to be battling the track and yourself compared to battling the other drivers. And the thing we're most likely going to be dealing with the most is tire wear. And the fact that these cars we're running, these babies got about 900 horsepower on them, so tire wear is going to be to the extreme, and yep, gotta be careful holding on to that car.
Yeah, like you said it the best. Tire wear is going to be a big issue here at Atlanta. It's notorious for grinding up those Goodyear Racing Eagles, and it's going to be a good test in seeing how which driver can control their car better. Just based on practice, it seemed like the drivers running 50 plus laps in practice have a better understanding of the track. Not saying that the drivers who came in late did not practice prior to coming to Atlanta and logging in today racing here, but it seems to me like the drivers who competed the most time in practice getting a handle for their car probably have a good enough idea of where to run and how to conserve their tires for the length of the race.
Yeah, well said. We got just about 10 seconds to go before qualifying ends, and it seems like the field is pretty much set. I don't think anybody else is going to get any more time. This is a single car qualifying run, so it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a hot lap. Once qualifying is over, it is over, and, well, guess what? It's over. It's going to be switching over to our race setup right now. Well, right before I get the drivers' starting grid order, Matt, what do you think is going to happen here at Atlanta? It's going to be a very hot, grueling day.
It really is, and just looking at the qualifying times, you could throw a blanket over the top 20 right now in advance of time. Just a blink of an eye separates the driver qualifying the first, Chris Worrell, and the 20th place driver, Cooper Johnson. It's a blanket over them. It's going to be a competitive race.
Yes, it is. And, well, I got the qualifying grid in here set up, and let's go ahead. I'll go over through the qualifying results. Let me go ahead and switch the camera, and you know what? Let me go ahead and throw a little bit of pizzazz. Get the drone cam circling around these drivers.
I like it.
Yeah, starting in the pole, Chris Worrell, number 06 machine, with James Holzer in second place on the outside. Nick in Delicato, starting in third with James Heater in fourth. Fifth will be Cameron Rich with Kwame Scott in sixth. Seventh, Andy Trupiano, Mark Whitley in 8th. Tate Lido starting 9th with Nick Massey in 10th place. Joe Francis is going to be starting this race here in 11th place with Seth Rawls right alongside him in 12th. Hank Steinmiller starting tonight's race in 13th with Jared Rexing on his outside. Ethan Burrell, number 37, and Matthew Bayuk, number 29, is starting 15th and 16th. Dylan Thomas, Scott Crump, Garen Turner, and Cooper Johnson will be rounding out your top 20. And outside the top 20, well, this is where you were talking about, Matt, the drivers that maybe were not as close to the lead, but that doesn't mean that these drivers don't have a chance. 21st, Damian Leininger, Josh Clark in 22nd, Matthew Weeks 23rd, Johnny Thomas 24th. Thomas Sherman will be starting their next race in 25th with Brad Kress in 26th. Oh, wow, I also just realized I forgot to update this, so I do apologize, guys, for that. It's hard for me to commentate and produce at the same time as, where was I?
You have Jeff Green, who starting 27th, alongside Jared Campbell and Austin Beers, rounding out 29th, and Michael Goodman rounding out the top 30. And I tell you, just based on that, it's going to be great. I'll continue reading on here. We only have a little bit of time before they drop the green flag. Robert Hill Jr. starting 33rd, I believe. Sorry. Jared Morgard. I am butchering that. Mogard, 34th. And from 35th on the way down, they didn't even get a chance to qualify. Either they ran out of time or they just chose not to qualify for this race.
And that happens. Sometimes you see some of these drivers choosing not to qualify, start at the back. These races get hectic very, very quickly. I believe last week we had a very quick caution to start the race. And then after that, we went a long distance. Green flag runs. ERSCA is known for some great fun racing. And with these cars, this season has not disappointed, as it looks like they're delaying the start of the race.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not unheard of here. And one thing that I've noticed here, 43 cars starting this race, and like what you see on Sundays for the big dogs in the NASCAR Cup Series, up to 40 cars can start. Now we get a full field, old school 43 cars. I love it.
Yeah, this is amazing. Not quite sure why there was a delay of green. I'm trying to look. Everybody seems to be readied up, but oh well, gives us a little bit more chance, a little bit of a extra chance for us to just get our bearings set up and everything. Now, usually, Dom and David, who David is unable to make it tonight due to power outage issues, what they usually do before the race begins is they pick a driver. They're gonna pick, and well, they're not here. Dom's still working on the elite race. David is unable to be here, and Matt. Well, I hate to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Cam and Rich because nobody can stop me, and I think he's going to win tonight's race. Who do you think's going to win?
All right, Cameron Rich. You know what? I'm going to go a step further here. Let's see here. I'm going to pick James Heater. Why not? The 18 car. I'm going to pick him. I'm going to be keeping an eye on his Camry all day, and we'll see if James can pull it off here.
Is there a chance he chose James Heater because you're currently want a better heater?
That could be it. I could be just subliminally doing that. All right, green flag is out. Here we go here.
Away.
And we're currently working lap 2 here at Atlanta. Chris Worrell has jumped out to a pretty not a significant lead, not a safe lead. It's only lap 2 here. Everybody's just trying to field in their cars. You could definitely lose the race on the first lap and not win it. So we're here to see what these cars can do for the next 131 laps here.
Yep, one of the things I'm noticing is that usually the people that start making up moves this early in the race, or start pulling massive gaps, or start passing other guys early on in this race, are usually the people who might be underestimating Atlanta Motor Speedway, and should we go green, we'll be seeing them drop to the back after a couple laps because their tire wear is to the extreme.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed in doing iRacing here, you do not want to burn up your tires. You want to be aggressive, but you want to be conservative at the same time. It is a catch-22 with these cars. Now, I haven't had much experience here in the car of tomorrow. I could speak from experience, especially in the truck series, that tire conservation plays a key role, and it also sets up pit strategy later on in the race if you want 2 tires, vice 4 tires for that track position.
Well said. We got some smoke on the track, and I'm assuming it could have been from an incident between the 1 and the 46. The race is still green flag conditions at the time being, no problem except for the fact that I believe James Holzer is having some connection issues. He's back. He's bouncing in between reality and the void. So it looks like he's back right now. But so we do apologize for a little bit of a camera mix-up. But I'm gonna try to see what happened with the 46 and the 1 that's caused them to be so far back. Why don't you go ahead and take it away for a little bit, Matt? While I go see him. Yeah, pull up a replay.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be definitely a strategy issue. They could have seen something that they did not like on the track. Jared Darling there back in the 42nd position. Just could be one of those strategy moves. Looking through the field, I'm going to go ahead and look at Josh Adams here in the 95 car, currently running 33rd here. Just running his line against the 29 car of Matthew. If I butcher this, I am sorry. What's that?
Bayuk.
Bayuk, yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
And
Bayuk here.
I hate to say it, but unfortunately, your analysis was incorrect. As a matter of fact, I got the replay pulled up right here. You're gonna want to look away. I'm gonna put it up in slow motion. There's the 1 working the inside line, makes some contact, heavy damage to the outside wall.
Oh yeah, now that I'm looking at it right now, and that is definitely. I'm surprised that didn't bring out a caution.
Me too.
But you know what But that's just part of the deal here with the ERSCA series. If it doesn't affect a lot of people, I found that it doesn't bring out a caution. But yeah, that's just a mistake on Jared's part there, and that's unfortunate this early in the race.
And it seems like he may have taken his vehicle. No, sorry, excuse me. He's still out on track. I apologize. I got a little bug on my second machine here. second
Yeah,
camera, I guess I would say.
and I would dare say that's going to cause him to go a lap or not more down here before we know it, because I tell you what, the leader right now, Chris Worrell, is setting a monstrous pace, but he's not, but trailing him not far behind. James and Nick there in the 17 and the 01 car, they're hanging on to him, and this is a pretty close race right up here, just at the start of this race.
All right. Well, one last thing before I step away is it seems like Dom is joining here in the booth. I also want to go ahead and not only say, Matt, I hope you, I wish you good luck. Don't worry, Dom doesn't bite. But also, happy birthday, Matt. It is your birthday
Thank you so
today.
much.
Here, we can celebrate a little dance party. There we go.
All right, I appreciate that. That looks great. I'm definitely way past that stage of my life, but I'll take it.
Dom, are you good to go? You settled in?
All set here, Carlos. Ready to go. Ready for the Days Gone By 200.
All right. Well, Dom, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it away with Matt here. Have some fun, and I'm gonna go ahead and sit back down in my producer's chair.
All right, sounds good, Carlos. We appreciate you always bringing us all the camera angles and graphics and everything else you do behind the scenes. And we need you to stepping in here for David and I. David and I have somewhat of the same issues. He doesn't have Wi-Fi yet. I'm in the process of moving myself, so jumping on just a second late, but we appreciate Matt stepping in here and filling in for David. Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fine. Like I told told Carlos, I should say, at the start of the show. First time doing this. I'm used to doing the podcasting and driving iRacing, but this is a great experience. And thank you guys for the experience of doing this. It's a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, no problem. Great race going on here with Whitley out front. Worrell now in second. After third, and Delicato and Scott round out your top five. Third race here of the ERSCA season. This one sponsored by Days Gone By. 12 of 133 laps in.
And I tell you what, just looking at it right now, it seems like the 01 car of Nick Indicalanato, I'm pretty sure I butchered that horribly, but he is the one that is traveling up to the high side right now and trying to make that high line work early on into this race. We're only lap 13 in, and so far he's the only one of the front runners I see trying to make that high line work. Let's see what happened here with the 20 car. And let's see.
20 car will be Turner. Our newcomers to the league here this year.
And it's, well, we're going to bring you that if we can here soon. But I tell you what, being a newcomer here, as you said there, it's tough. I tried to qualify for the Daytona race, and these cars and this much of a tight-knit organization and tight competitiveness, it's difficult for newcomers to come in here, and I can speak for that for one, and try to understand these cars right out of the gate, especially on a tough track like Atlanta. All right.
Looks like Carlos is going to dial up the replay one more time. We'll take a look at it here.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that doesn't work 100% at the time. But that's just part of the racing. He could have just gotten loose coming off of turn 2 there. He could have gotten a little squirrely into the gas too hard. And we could be seeing already on lap 15 tires becoming... Oh, caution's on the track here. What do we get?
First caution.
And it looks like Jeff Green here has a little bit of an issue. Ooh, heavy damage for that third car. And one can only assume, who knows what happened to him. We're going to have to wait for the replay on that, but that's unfortunate for Jeff Green here so early into the race.
Ash Adams, another one involved in this two-car wreck. The 95 machine getting some significant damage as well. It's another heavy hitter here in our series. Having some issues.
Yeah,
first caution.
And let's go ahead and see what happened to Jeff Green here onto the replay. Okay, car into the wall. Oh, that's not good. Oh, yeah. Wrong place, wrong time for those guys. Yikes. That's just a part of it. I really don't know what to say except hold on on that one. And we're seeing our first pit stops of the day here already, getting tires 15 laps into the race. Drivers electing to get tires onto their vehicles. Now, Don, you've been doing this for a long time here. What have you seen as far as trends here? Have you seen a lot of trends as far as cautions early in the race and it goes green for a long time, or what do you see here?
Well, last week at Rockingham, obviously it's a little different having the COT car here this year, but last week, yeah, there are usually a few cautions right off the start. Drivers trying to get a handle on their race car, and then it depends. Some racetracks are obviously a little bit more tougher to handle the race car, some a little bit easier, but I'd expect it to go maybe kind of like what we saw at Rockingham last week, where we had a good green flag stretch through the middle part of the race and into the end before we had one last caution there right before we wrap it up.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see, just based on what I saw in the practice session here before the race, the big thing here, and Carlos and I explained it at the top of the broadcast, tires, and we're already seeing here coming in very early on this first caution, getting tires on lap 17. This is either going to trend very good for these guys or very poorly for these guys throughout the course of the race who could manage the tires more. Here's another replay of it. Oh, he just gets squirrely right there. Jeff Green does, and loses it, and that's really just a racing incident. I feel like that was no part, just a byproduct of these cars and these tracks here. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh boy, nowhere for that guy to go. The AEW Elite. And Josh Adams, nowhere for Josh Adams to go. That's unfortunate for Josh. Wrong place, wrong time. I hate to see that early on in the race. Ooh, and this is interesting. The top two drivers stayed out onto the track. This is going to be either very good for those guys or turn out very poorly for these guys because everybody else behind them got fresh rubber, fresh Goodyears on their car. This is going to be interesting to see. This is going to be an exciting restart.
It will be first caution. We'll see if there's a difference in line choice here, which one might have the better restart advantage. Top line or the bottom line. Hank Steinmiller on the bottom, Johnson on the top. Watch that 0-1 car of Nick and Delicato right behind him in third.
Yeah, that 0-1 car's been hunting the top early on in the race, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be waiting long to go back up there to the top. As we go back under green and, dipping on the inside, the 0-1 car right there, just making it look easy. Making it look very easy.
Getting Delicato to the race lead.
Man, I almost want to go back and change my pick of my winner here. Nick and Delicato is just on a rail right here. He's got this place figured out, and he's going to be the one to watch. But watch him throughout the progression of his run. I have a feeling he's going to be making his way up to the top once he gets into a groove here. That is, of course, if the 77 of Mark Whitley has something to say about going into turn one.
Yeah, and Delicato has been a guy that's been around and led some laps here in ERSCA in the last couple of years and just been snake bitten. Hasn't been able to get that car to victory lane, but he's got his Dodge look into the inside here of Whitley, trying to reclaim the race lead.
Yeah. And the big thing I see right now is how hard are these two drivers racing. It is a lot of fun to watch. But we are on lap 20 of 133 laps, and are they burning out their equipment a little too early here, racing each other? Vice just getting into a nice rhythm here off of that first caution that we had.
Yeah, tire wear definitely going to play a factor here in this one. We saw it last week at Rockingham. If you go out a little too hard, it'll fade away quickly. We'll see how much of a difference it makes here at Atlanta. If the tire fall off is just as fast or if it's a little slower.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. I feel it just depends on the driver. It depends on how much the driver wants to push. If they're lifting more going into the corner, vice any other driver around him. If they're in it for the long game, we should say. Not saying that the two drivers up front, Mark and Nick, aren't in it for the long game. Everybody out there wants to win, but it just really depends on I feel just you want to play for the long game, and now we're starting to see separation right here as they start separating from the third place car of Chris Worley.
And Carlos just queued up one of the guys that's notorious for saving his tires late in the run. 2020 ERSCA champion Nick Massey sitting back there quietly in the 8th position. Lytle right behind him. Ethan Burrell, Scott Crump, 4 big-name heavy hitters here in the series, all lurking right there just inside the top 10 or just outside of it. Crump being in 11th. They're all back there just kind of waiting, biding their time.
Yeah, and it's a very long race to go. I mean, we're going to be emphasizing that until it's probably about 20 to go here. It's a very long way to go. And even with 20 to go, I feel like it's just going to be one of those things where everybody wants to get that track position here. But I could tell right now with Mark Whitley out in the lead, clean air and fresh tires make a world of a difference, especially here at Atlanta. And as
look at the bottom line here, finally having to slide in was Rexing. Jared Rexing's having a good start to the season here. He's been up front most of the races, and now he's starting to fall back just a little bit, stuck on that high side.
Yeah,
and going to come underneath, and here comes Rich as well.
And we're seeing here the 0-1 of Nick my goodness, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your Indicado already on that top line. He's found that his home right there at the top, and he's running very well right there.
Massey on the move. He just got around Cameron Rich. He's going to come after Scott next. That would be for 6th. The 48 car starting to march his way towards the front.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting to see here throughout the course of this run. I mean, we just started this run here on fresh tires. A lot of drivers now know what their cars have, I feel, in that short amount of time, at least a short run. Now I feel like everybody's going to kind of settle down right here and try to get a long stretch in, maybe see a green flag stop before we know it here. As we look at the replay right here, what happened here? Yeah, we're just doing, okay, I apologize, first time up here, and we have multicam up here. So that's not a problem, that's just a bump on my parts here, so a little bit of side-by-side picture-in-picture action here from 3YTV. A very awesome production right here. This is a lot of fun to watch. Both cameras going on here, a little bit of 3-wide action here. This is great. I tell you what, I'm having the time of my life here right now.
Yeah, top screen, we're watching that battle for at the 11th and 12th, back to 13th and 14th as well. You got Self Morales, Jared Bogard, Piano, Crump, Morel all in the mix there, fighting for positions.
Now, Dom, it seems like you've been calling this ERSCA series for a long time. Do you notice that throughout the course of the run, especially early on the run, we're here on lap 28, that you could probably see drivers maybe trying to take it easy or just, we got something going on there. Uh-oh. Oh,
What a save there to keep it from a pileup. They're going to make some more contact.
Holy cow, this is crazy. Everybody's reacting to the spin, and that's very normal. Look at what happened right there with that group. Accordion effect right there. That was crazy. I'm surprised we didn't have a couple cars involved in that. Trying to figure out who that is, the 0-2, and what it looks like.
Seth Rawls in the 0-2.
Wow.
He held on to it there, got really loose coming out of the corner.
Yeah, he really did, and as they like to say, like I like to say, they wrecked, but he wrecked, but he didn't crash right there, and that's a perfect example of car control and just knowing what to do and what not to do in that situation, not overreacting. But Dom, going back to my question here, do you notice that drivers, especially after the first caution, tend to settle in and go for the long run, or what do you tend to see during the course of these races that has more to do with the driver's mindset vice the tires?
It all depends. It's kind of more of what type of driver they are. Like I said, Nick Massey, Tate Lytle, those guys are kind of more of the guys that'll take their time and let these guys run their tires off a little bit and then chase them later in the run. And then there's some guys that like to go out right from the drop of the green flag and go at it hard. And Delicado is that sometimes there's a few of them in here that you got to find, and you'll see them and you'll notice as you go throughout the race who those might be. But as you can see, we're 10, 12 laps in now, and Nick and Delicado's car is just starting to come alive. And Lytle's following them right through, and they're starting to march up through the field.
Yeah, and I've been keeping an eye on excuse me, an eye on Nick and Delicado's car and his run right now, and he just loves that high line. And a couple drivers right there. We're seeing the 07 of Jared Rexing climb up there as well, trying to find some speed up there. And I'm seeing a trend here. It seems like if one goes to the top and makes it work, a lot of drivers will give it a go, especially early on here in the race.
They're all trying to pick up tips off each other too. If you see a guy making some speed up there, they'll take a mental note. They'll try it up there on someone else, and if it works for them, they'll stick to that high line. If not, you can see most of the guys sticking down to that bottom line. Is Massey tries to jump up there. Rexing going up to the high side now, trying to follow in Delicado's line.
Man, and I don't know if you noticed, Quimmy Scott there in the 99 car just got squirrely there going into turn 3 and kissed the wall, just barely kissed the wall. I don't think that's going to be much damage here. He's still trucking along in the inside of Indedicado right there, having a great run. Quimmy Scott started 6th here, running 5th, and he's holding his own right up there. Kind of one of those silent sleepers. Of course, this is my first season involved with ERSCA as far as commentating and a driver, so I'm just still trying to understand everybody, but he's really impressing me right now.
Oh, really loose and into the wall.
Oh, big, oh my goodness.
Pile up. That's
going to bring out a caution for sure.
That's Turner once again. We saw him get loose earlier. This time he spins it out to the outside wall.
Wow. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, let's see if we can diagnose this because, oh. That's an overcorrection if I've ever seen one right there, unfortunately. Gathered in a few more people. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, Dom. Yeah, he's got a little too aggressive there on the gas and spun his tires, and I don't know who he collected there. Can't really tell just from this angle. And just being told Garrett Turner he collected there. Again, another circumstance. It seems like to me, Dom, a one-car incident could be turned into a guy being in one place wrong time, just like we saw with Turner right there.
Yeah, and that's...
Thomas.
Turner was the car that spun out. Dylan Thomas, who's been in the wrong place at the wrong time a few times here in ERSCA, and right here, just nowhere for him to go. You see him try to lock it up. Can't go anywhere, and Turner comes back up the track and gets into Dylan Thomas. Yeah, it's tough, especially when you're carrying these speeds around here to try to slow that race car down. And usually these guys do a pretty good job of avoiding wrecks. We don't see too many big ones here. That one just a 2-car wreck, and unfortunately for Dylan Thomas, he was the one that drew the short straw and was in the way.
And what's kind of blowing me away right now, I'm just looking at what's going on the racetrack and the amount of people who've stayed out. It seems like tires, you'd want to, every chance you get fresh Goodyear stickers onto that car. But now we're seeing just a few handful of cars to pit road here. Get you a count here whenever we can, I feel. But, I mean, Dom, good move, bad move? What do you think?
And it was kind of a short run here, and I don't know. I was going to see if I can text Johnny and find out how many sets of tires we actually have for tonight. I know last week we only had 6, so tires can be kind of precious, and especially only being 30 laps in here, closing in on 40. I'm going to save those tires for later in the race. So some of these top 20 guys that feel like they maybe haven't used their stuff up yet, going to try to save tires here a little bit for later in the race.
And yeah, I mean, well, that's a good point here because, I mean, unbeknownst to me, again, being a rookie here, didn't know there was a tire allocation and a set number of tires for this race. And I'm with you. I mean, if I was them, if my car's running well and I've already used a set of tires, I probably have 3 sets of tires according to what I'm hearing here. 4 sets for this race. I have 3 sets on pit road right now. Save it for the end of the race if I could help it.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos, giving us the inside information there, telling us there's 4 sets available. So we already came down on pit road on lap 20. It's 1 set, so you got 3 sets left. Want to try to push it more towards the halfway point here of this one before maybe you come get another set. Would leave you for 2 sets for the second half of the race. But See how it plays out. Some of those guys, maybe they didn't come the first time that were in the back half of the field, or maybe they're trying to get a fresh shot and see if they can play the track position game here and hope another caution comes out here shortly. We'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, good point there. I mean, just doing a quick calculation here, 133 lap race with 4 sets of tires. You're looking at around 33 laps in order to get a new set of tires, or maybe that's your pit window right there. But to me, I mean, if it was me, and I can tell you this just from experience, I'm going to be coming in every chance I get and getting rubber onto that car, because I know I'd probably be the one hitting the wall. You guys wouldn't even be talking about me if I was in the field today. But looking at it right now, I mean, we only have 38 cars on the lead lap here, coming back to on 1 to go right now. This should be an interesting restart here with these older tires. I'm expecting some wheel spin, Dom. What do you think?
Very possible. We saw it a couple times last week, and then if you get that wheel spin and oversteer in there, it can take you right to the outside wall. So you got to be careful here for if you're Holzer and Whirl. Remember, Nick and Delicato restarted third last time on the last restart, jumped right to the inside and took the race lead. He's right there on that inside line again, starting in the 3rd position. So watch that 0-1 car as well. Kwame Scott having a good run, and Nick Massey and Cameron Rich running out 5th and 6th. So those are your front 3 rows. I'd keep an eye on here in the next couple laps, that 48 and that 47. They're going to start to make their way even farther to the front.
All right, I'll keep an eye on him. Now, for our newer or viewers watching on YouTube here, maybe for the first time, and myself, the restarts start on the leader. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the restart zone or on the green flag. It could be just on the start of the leader whenever the pace card's off.
Correct. It's up to Holzer to initiate the restart, and he'll get a pretty decent jump here as they come back to the start-finish line.
And now we're seeing very clean restart from everybody from what it looks like here, coming off of turn 2, I should say. And now I'm starting to see a trend here. People are starting to find that top line more desirable than the bottom line, as we see Chris Worrell go past the 17 of James Holzer there to take the lead coming out of turn 4, and following behind them, Nick DeCaliato. Oh gosh, my goodness. And Delicato, I apologize for Nick. I have to apologize for everybody right now. But taking the lead there on the outside, that top lane, I think that's going to be the lane everybody migrates up to by the time we see the checkered flag here.
Yeah, track might be going through a little bit of a change here. Getting some rubber up there on the top lane, and here comes Delicato into the 2nd position. He's got Cameron Rich in tow right behind him.
And he could have hit the wall right there, just scraped the wall right there, as we saw. As we're here side by side here looking at the amazing racing here. This is great, guys. This is a different perspective that I've always wanted to try, and Chris, this is an awesome opportunity. But I'm starting to see a trend here. If you qualified well, you understand these cars, you're going to be running up front. You know what these cars are going to do on the long run. And it's evident here because we have the top 3 right now, each starting 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and each running up there in the same positions with a switch between Nick and James right there in the 2nd and 3rd spot.
Yeah, there's some guys sitting back here. This back half of the top 10 is definitely loaded with heavy hitters. I've been mentioning it quite a few times tonight, but you look at 6th through 11th. Actually, Johnny Thomas on the move now. But you got Cameron Rich is sitting 3rd. Peyton Lytle 6th, Nick Massey 7th, Ethan Burrell 8th, Johnny Thomas 10th, Trupiano 11th, Scott Crump 12th. Then you even look back just a little bit farther, Mogard Weeks, Bayou. So a lot of guys here lurking. We'll see if Whirl and then Delicato can hold on out front here.
Man, I tell you what, I've been watching the 77 of Mark Whitley here. He took it 3 wide. This guy is an aggressive driver here, and he is marching his way up to the front. He took it 3 right going there in the front stretch, and on the last lap, this guy is on a tear here, going underneath. Wow. I mean, just looking at Mark Whitley here, just taking the 2nd position. He's going for the lead here, I feel, here soon. Up to 2nd, out of nowhere seemingly. either he saved his stuff or he got fresh tires on that last pit stop, and underneath, yeah, he's on fresh set of rubber, and Don, that's right there, a product of fresh tires versus old tires, and Mark Whitley just took the lead, made it look easy.
That's the difference between having new tires instead of old tires. He's going to pull away here, start to gap Worrell in the second position. Johnny Thomas came down, got some fresh tires. Series president on the move as well. Guy that almost won our opening race at Daytona. Now running in the second position. So obviously the new set of tires making a difference, but we'll just see in the long run how much that actually pays off for these guys.
I think it will. I mean, if you look at the gap here, because everybody else is on old tires right now, except for Mark Whitley and Johnny Thomas. And Johnny Thomas and Mark Whitley will get past these slower cars here before we know it, and then find themselves in a relatively easy gap, I feel. And then by the time they come down pit road, it might be reversed. We're going to see people like Chris Worley come in and take fresh tires and maybe eclipse them. So it's be interesting to see how this pit strategy pays off throughout the course of the race. But man, Mark is on a rail right now. He is just in another area code.
He's already stretched the lead out to 1.6 seconds over Johnny Thomas, who's taken the second position away from Worrell. Delicado back to third. Jared Campbell might be one of those cars that's also on fresh tires making his way through the field. He's on the march, looking to come after Delicado for the fourth position as he'll dive down to the inside. Hank Steinmiller coming with him as well. So Francis, another car that's making the march through the field. So all these guys have got fresh tires. Oh, Campbell made contact with Delicado and had to save it.
Man, and Delicado, I think, man, and we've been seeing a lot of that right there going into turn 3 there, Don. It seems like that is the trouble area. If you're going to have trouble on the track, going into turn 3 is it. And that's very unusual. You have these cars that are 900 horsepower, and them trying to accelerate in or let off the gas, and that's sometimes not a winning combination as they go back into turn 3 here if they can hold it in. But I mean, usually you see cars spin off the corner, off of turn 4 or off of turn 2, not usually going into the turn, which is kind of blowing my mind right now.
It's definitely one of the reasons Johnny made the switch to the COT car. A little bit harder to handle, harder to drive. It's paid off here. We've had some exciting moments at ERSCA here just in the first couple weeks, and there you go, Campbell able to navigate through, get that car back underneath him. He gets around Worrell, who's fallen down to 5th. It allowed Hank Steinmiller to get around Campbell as here he comes right now to the inside.
Yeah, and I can tell you from experience, and not much experience, I tried to qualify for the Daytona 250 here a few weeks ago, and let me tell you, even on a restricted engine like Daytona, and just being told it wasn't restricted, which makes me even look more like a fool, I tell you. But it's just one of those things where it was tough to hang on to, even in Daytona and a pack racing. I didn't even complete one lap of the duels until I was taken out, and there goes my chance to get into the Daytona race. But these guys doing it, I tell you what, kudos to them. I wish I had enough time to perfect this art, but it seems like the guys running up front really have a handle on it.
One of the best clean racing series we have here when it comes to NASCAR, and here comes Joe Francis to the inside of Campbell. So might have worn up those tires a little bit when he spun them, and he's definitely lost his momentum. Jared Campbell is on the charge. Now he's falling back through the field a little bit. Let's talk about Whitley, who has just continued to put a beat down on everybody. He's stretched that lead over Johnny Thomas now to 2.7 seconds and has just checked out on the rest of the field. Steinmiller 6 seconds back.
Yeah, and seeing this, I mean, what I'm more impressed with is Johnny Thomas starting 24th and now running in second. Good strategy of keeping your nose clean and good pit strategy to get himself up in that position here. Just sometimes you have to do that. If something's not working right for you, and the leaders are doing one thing, for this instance, staying out, come in, get fresh tires, and change it up a little, and that might be a difference. That might come down and help Johnny Thomas and Mark Whitley here at the end of the race, fight the guys who stayed out trying to conserve their stuff here. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
One thing, we're still quite a few laps away
from
it happening, but we do have halfway points that are available to the top 10, and right now, Mark Whitley and Johnny Thomas putting themselves in great positions to pick up some extra bonus points here once we hit the halfway point. We won't stop the race for like stage racing or anything like that, but we will get those points handed out to them, those top 10 drivers.
And that's very interesting too. That changes everything from my point of view. Because if I am Mark Whitney or Johnny Thomas, and I'm starting back in the 20th position, even people like Cooper Johnson and Gerard Campbell, I want to get in there and at least get those good points, because those points add up throughout the course of the season, and that could be the difference between making the chase and making the playoffs or not.
Hey guys,
or a
I'd like
championship.
to interject myself here. My mic is hot. People can hear me. I believe this is also the last race before they switch on over to this year's points to determine who's locked into the season, who's locked into the race. So today's the last chance for all those guys who may be outside the bubble to get as many points as they can.
And you want to put yourself in the position to do that. You want to do what Johnny Thomas is doing, what Gerard Campbell is doing, in order to do that, because one race does not a season make. You could do very well here. I mean, Mark Whitley could end up winning this race, and that's great. But he's got to do that throughout the course of the season. These guys are playing the long game, and I like it.
There's a couple guys that are really putting themselves in good position when it comes to the points. Some guys we normally don't see up here. You got Johnson in the 6th position, Darling in 7th. Couple guys that are not familiar up here running up front, having good runs here as we close in on the halfway point here. Other days gone by 200.
And just looking at the Jared Darling right here, he's in a tight bubble right there with the 31 car. I think the 31 is Gerard Campbell right here. And they got to be careful here. Their tires are getting older. They're getting a little slicker. And this is where a race within a race where you can see people maybe taking unnecessary risk for those 1 or 2 point differences. And it could cost them at the end of the race. But it doesn't look like that's happening. It looks like Gerald Darling is doing very well right there. Just, finding his rhythm right there and just settling in nicely. But this is great. This is I tell you guys what, just looking at it from this point of view, there's so information overload here. We're trying to give you the best information that we can. I know Dom and Carlos are doing great in doing that. I'm just excited to be here. If I'm talking too much, let me know. This is just great here. As we look at I think a replay right here. Nope, it's not, but it's okay. It's a good battle though, I tell you. And looking at the speeds in this cars, Dom, in your experience, especially from Rockingham, do the speeds fall off a lot as the run goes on, or does it tend to stay somewhat steady throughout the course of the run?
They'll definitely lose speed when the tires wear off. You'll see it. It'll be a big difference, just kind of like what we saw there, how fresh of tires saw Whitley and Thomas have. Just imagine that you had fresh tires off of fresh pit stop on a longer green flag run. Let's say someone came in now compared to someone staying out. The difference would be very, very significant compared to even what we saw with Whitley and Thomas. But it can come to the point where if you don't make pit stops, you could fall 20, 30 spots easily. Everyone else behind you pit. So here we go. Here comes Hank Steinmiller looking to the inside of Johnny Thomas. This will be for the 2nd position if Steinmiller could make that inside work, but looks like Johnny Thomas will get the run off the top side. He'll head into 3 and 4.
It doesn't look like it right here, underneath right here, and secured that. Clean pass right there for the 2nd position, and that was he almost made that look easy.
He definitely got a better run through 3 and 4 on that bottom line than in 1 and 2.
And I tell you, just looking through the field right here on my own separate screen and own separate feed right here, Gerard Campbell, man, he is wicked loose. It looks like he's driving on patches of black ice out there at times. He was lucky not to spin out just a couple laps ago. He's just whirly here. It looks like he's having a little trouble maybe controlling his car here on the longer runs. This is the longest run we've had, looking at a few more laps until the midway point.
Going on about 40 laps here, and Campbell really loose there. Went through the tri-oval.
I think he's just barely hanging on to it, and holy cow, he's doing a great job maintaining his position. I mean, he's just outside the top 10 right now, and it looks like the 87 right there, Richard Hines, is gonna probably. Oh, geez, I mean, he is holding on. I'm just fixated on his car control right now because he should have wrecked and crashed several times for me. If it was me behind there, I probably would have wrecked and crashed a few times myself.
Oh, we already looked at it, or we already talked about it a little while ago. We break this race up into 4 segments for tires. It's about 30 to 40 laps, and I think you're starting to see these tires being completely gone off some of these cars. So I'd expect those that did not pit on the previous caution to start making their plans to come down pit road.
Right.
We have cars bouncing off the wall, cars spinning out almost in corners. Tires really starting to go away here quickly.
Right, and what does that do for the drivers like Mark Whitley, who still has a 1.2 second lead over the second place car of Hank Steinmiller? Oh, geez, in the grass right there. Holy cow. I'm surprised Gerard Campbell didn't lose it right there. It's just cars everywhere. I think now, I mean, you get past halfway, which we're a couple laps away from halfway, and then you pit, especially if you're in your top 10. You hold on to what you got until at a halfway point. And I tell you what, one lap after halfway, I'm pitting.
Yes, Hank Steinmiller's on the charge. He's closing by about 2 to 3 tenths of a second. That time's looked a little closer, but Steinmiller's definitely been closing in the final few laps, and he's got it within a second now of Mark Whitley.
But I think Mark Whitley has it for that halfway point standings right now. I think it's going to take a mess up on Mark Whitley in order for Steinmiller to catch him here.
Steinmiller's still doing the best he can, and I think Whitley's wore his tires off. That car is starting to go away a little bit.
Uh-oh. This is crazy. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, he's in big trouble here. And I think next lap is halfway here. I mean, but what a great performance. Oh, yeah, he's very loose. Mark Whitley is coming off of turn 2 here, and he's just holding on to it, but Steinmiller isn't making it easy on him as he goes on the inside of going into turn 3, coming out of turn 4 here. What a race here, and like he was standing still. Maybe I think, if I'm not mistaken here, Mark Whitley here has a little bit of right front damage there, which could cost him in the long run, which could be affecting the handling of that car. Oh, car and caution here. We're going to try to bring it up here. What's going on here? This is going to be our 3rd caution of the day. Lafferty, it looks like we're being told here Lafferty is involved in this caution here.
Richard Lafferty.
Which, holy cow, I mean, I think that will secure the top position here for the halfway point for Hank Steinmiller here. Hank Lafferty here. Richard Lafferty. Why did I say Hank? Oh, because I'm thinking of Hank Steinmiller here, who's just put on a really good show right there. Let's see what happened here. All right, going into turn. Uh-oh, he just. He got booted. Or somebody was coming through and Lafferty wasn't going to stop him, was he? Holy cow. Oh, who was that who overcorrected into the wall there? That's not advantageous for a good race. Oh yeah, this is going to be great. Yeah, that was a punt. That was a crazy punt right there. Who did that? I'm trying to figure out who the car was who punted him right there. That might have been a little uncalled for, but it could be just a product of the tires falling off and them not getting up to speed and controlling it right now.
Could have been some tire spin in there as well, trying to get into that corner. We've seen it cause issues before, might have slowed up the momentum. As you see Steinmiller on pit road, and I expect almost everybody to come down, which I guess it plays a track position game here for Steinmiller, Joe Francis, and the rest of his crew, because everybody going to even out here on pit stops. The only deficit they're going to have now is they're going to have one less set of tires than they had those are the guys that stayed out, like in Delicado.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Mark Whitley coming in second, coming out first on that round of pit stops. So we have people staying out on track. Mark Whitley came out, and which kind of surprised me that he didn't take this opportunity to fix the damage for the second half of the race. Which, do you think that would hurt him in the long run, Dom, or not? Because I feel like if it was under caution, you might as well take the opportunity to at least somewhat repair your car for the long race, but it didn't seem to affect him throughout the course of the run here, that damaged right front.
Yeah, it depends on how significant that damage is. It really has seemed through the 2 races we've had so far, even at Daytona, the damage has not really affected the race cars too much. They've been able to travel through and fight up back through the pack. So, see, obviously Rawls feels like his car's good enough and that there's not too much damage to it. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that Mark Whitley, but it seems like to me, it seems like a lot of cars out there have a little bit of damage to speak of right now. It doesn't seem like everybody's keeping their car 100% intact here, which could actually level it out. It seems like a lot of people have had run-ins with the wall if you look at the right side of their vehicles.
Yeah, and those little scrapes, like I said, haven't seemed to really cause too many problems with losing speed or slowing the car down at all. So see if that makes a factor here at Atlanta, but at least from Rockingham and Daytona, they've been good to go. I mean, obviously it's probably not quite as fast as it could be, but it's not making them any less competitive.
Yeah, and looking at the side of Johnny Thomas's car, the 83 machine right there, he has that whole right side is needless to say, if it was a real car, it's going to be replaced after the race, and that's going to be hung on a wall somewhere. So it seems like everybody's not immune to the toughness of these cars and them being squirrely here.
So Rawls will come down pit road now, which will make Mark Whitley your race leader. Steinmiller will be second, Darling third, and Joe Francis in fourth. Joe Francis was starting to make a charge there late in that green flag run before that caution came out. He had caught Steinmiller and Whitley for the race lead.
And this is going to be an interesting start. Mark Whitley and Steinmiller right back up there where they ended pretty much the halfway run. We'll pretty much call. I'm going to say this is a halfway caution, just kind of conveniently fell there at the halfway point. But now we're all on the downhill slope here. I don't think anybody's going to hold anything back. Everybody's, for the most part, has fresh rubbers on their car. This is going to be a interesting restart, to say the least.
Out on the pace car, we're going to get ready to go back green once again.
I think Mark Whitley takes this opportunity to try to gap Hank Steinmiller right here and try to get a little bit of a buffer here. If I were him, I would. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. Got a great start right there. Rockets to the front. Mark Whitley just took full advantage of that because everybody else is... I mean, we're on a level playing field right now, but I think we're going to see these cars... I think everybody by this point of the race knows what they have and what they don't and where they can run and where they can't. This is going to be a very interesting restart, and let's see if we have another long green flag run.
Darling took advantage of that restart. He'll slot into the second position. Steinmiller back to third. Delicado in fourth. Joe Francis holding on for fifth ahead of Johnny Thomas.
Yeah, Jared Darling right there starting the 36th position has made his way up in the past 73 laps to be in a position now for a great finish, if not a win here today at Atlanta. This is great action right here, folks. I mean, if this is your first time watching this, like I am actually sitting here watching this, I don't know what I've been doing. I've been missing out here. This is great stuff, and I dare say they should do this through the off season too, to fill the void of NASCAR races not being on TV. This is great. A lot of fun right now, and I think if I'm that the one car, Jared Darling here, isn't going to be very patient here with Mark Whitley here, as he might be trying to take the lead here.
Darling's closed in. He's looking to the inside here on Whitley.
He is, and look who's there in third. Hank Steinmiller right there, just waiting for these two guys to mess up. He's saying, please let the two toughest cars right now mess up so I have a clear path to victory. As what's surprising me here is a lot of cars migrating up, and Jared Darling isn't migrating up. He's favoring that middle lane right now. This is absolutely amazing, just what these guys are doing here with these Car of Tomorrow cars that we saw introduced back in 2007, which seems like forever ago, 15 years ago. Which, crazy enough, I was in Iraq when serving in the Marine Corps when the Car of Tomorrow came out. But this is just unbelievable right here, racing. Man, I tell you, looking back here, is that trying to figure out who here, the 99 car of Quimmy Scott here. Don't count him out. He started 6th, and he's been up there all day in the top 5, just holding his own.
Scott having a solid run here. Sitting in the 4th position, just took a look under Nick and Delicato, but he's going to have a rearview mirror full of Cameron Rich here in just a second. Rich is closing in as well. Comes Nick Massey to the inside of Cameron Rich for that 5th place position. Takes a look, not going to be close enough to make the move.
Man, I tell you what, who didn't have a good restart there? Johnny Thomas falling all the way back now to the 11th. His car is not handling right, and it looks like that car's been to Martinsville, not Atlanta. Because holy cow, he is just hanging on for dear life from what it looks like here. Racing Jared Darling there for the 10th position.
Stuck on the high side. Here comes...
Yeah, Cooper Johnson right there in the 14. And car off the pace right there on the back stretch, and doesn't seem to be a factor right now.
Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell sitting back in 8th and 9th. I thought they would make their way up just a little bit more. A couple cars that Ethan Burrell was in championship contention all season long last year. Thought those guys would make their way to the front just a little bit more than they have so far. Keep watching back there. We'll keep an eye on them, see if they can come forward.
Man, it looks like who was that just got wicked loose there on the top? It might have been a car lap down here, but holy cow, he hung on to that beautifully.
Battle for the race lead. Here comes Hank Steinmiller to the inside of Whitley.
Uh-oh. And this is going to be, I think it's going to come down between these two cars, Mark Whitley and Hank Steinmiller. These two guys are just driving the wheels off of it, but they're doing it in a way that makes it look effortless, which is exactly what you want to see. And I have to say, the right side of Hank Steinmiller's car, relatively clean compared to the rest of the field here. He's taking care of his equipment very well.
It was going to be interesting to see these two guys. Obviously went with the tire strategy to get them out front, but it was going to be interesting to see if they could hold that position with everyone on even tires. So far they've been able to here. Nick and Delicato still stuck back there in 3rd, Scott in 4th, and now Nick Massey's climbed up into the top 5. But these two have been able to hold everyone at bay out front.
Yeah, and what I've noticed between the last time, and I know last time, I think Mark Whitley took 4 tires there when everybody else stayed out and just rocketed to the front. You're not seeing that this time because everybody's on the same strategy from what it seems like. Only a select few guys stayed out, but these guys are now on the same strategy. And you notice that gap there between the 1st place car and the 7th place car is separated by 1.1 seconds. So you throw a blanket on these guys. It's almost racing at like Talladega right now in a restricted model here. As we see the 48 car just wicked loose. I mean that's a little Boston slang. I'm nowhere near from Boston, but he's just all over the place. These guys are just sliding around. I think just being a little more aggressive here on lap 82. Vice, they were earlier in the race trying to conserve their stuff. But do you think that, Don? Do you think they're being a little more aggressive knowing that the laps aren't 100 to go anymore? It's more like 40 to go right now?
I'm wondering if Hank Steinmiller used his stuff up because he's stuck on that bottom lane. Nick and Delicato just went by. Kwame Scott's going by. Here comes Nick Massey as well. That 63 car sinking like a rock right now through the field. He took his shot at Mark Whitley, wasn't able to make the pass. They sat side by side for a few laps, and now I think Steinmiller is going to fall through the field a little bit.
Yeah, now we're seeing that high line starting to come into effect, and I think that's a product now. We're looking at almost 40 laps to go, if not right around 40 laps to go here in this race. 50 laps to go, and it back what before halfway we're looking at 60, 70 laps to go. Now the time's starting to get shrink down a little bit more. You're seeing guys trying to come up there and saying, hey, we only have this amount of time left. We don't have much time left. I got to get there and get there fast. But Hank Steinmiller, to your point, Dom, stuck there on the inside there as we got a new leader. Nick Indelicato has taken the lead effortlessly from Mark Whitley.
I can tell you right now what Nick Indelicato and Kwame Scott did. They sat back there and watched Whitley and Steinmiller battle for the race lead and push their tires. They conserved a little bit, and now that Whitley's used up his stuff a little bit, and Delicato makes the move, and he's out to the race lead. Kwame Scott wanted to go with, but hasn't been able to close up. You can see, I think he's still a little loose, trying to keep that car underneath him.
Now, I'm just wondering if Nick Indelicato could gap Mark Whitley here to maybe a half a second, 0.6 of a second, or maybe even 0.8 of a second to try to buffer up, because the last thing he wants is Kwame Scott coming around Mark Whitley and trying to take or put himself in the rearview mirror of Indelicato and just pressuring him to make a mistake.
I keep saying it, but the last two guys you want to see come right now is they're going to get side by side. This is going to allow Nick Massey and Tate Lytle, two of the best closers here in our sport, to come up here to the front and get in this battle. If I was a betting guy, I'd put my money on one of these two right now as they start to make their way through the pack. If they get up here and can challenge for the race lead, look out. It's going to be a tough race to wrestle away from.
Yeah, you weren't here yet, Dom. Prior to the green flag dropping and talking to Carlos here, I picked James Heater to win. He's now a lap down in 30th, so shows us what little I do, what little I have watched these races in the past. But hey, 0.8 of a second lead right now, Indelicato and Nick Indelicato. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Over Mark Whitley there in the second place car. He's gapping him. He's on a rail right now.
It helps that Whitley's getting pressured right now from every angle. Cameron Rich, Nick Massey have both got around Kwame Scott, and now they're going to team up to go around Whitley.
Oh yeah, made that look easy right there. Holy cow, you feel bad for Whitley as he's loose coming off of turn 1 into turn 2 and into the backstretch. I think he just, like you got to your point, he's used up his stuff trying to keep everybody behind him, and now everything is just going crazy here as we see it in-car camera right here. Cool little helmet right there for, it looks like Whitley, the Galactic Empire helmet right now, and he could use a little bit of Darth Vader's power right there to help him, because holy cow, he has his hands full right here.
I don't know how he didn't just take out Nick Massey and rack
He definitely hit the wall, and they are 3 wide coming off of turn 2 here, and they all get through there, but he's got his hands full right now. I don't know how he's hanging on to this, but I bet you he's in that car just fuming. He had a great shot right now to have a great finish, and it's just one of those things right now. Everybody else conserved, and he wanted to keep the lead. And he's paying the price right now as he's dropped at a 6th position right now. And I dare say he's going to sink a bit lower before it's all said and done, as we see Hank Steinmiller here going to try to battle him and pass him for the 8th position.
So I know I joined a little late, but Carlos, did you go with your man Cameron Rich once again today? Yep, Carlos, all last year went with Cameron Rich, and it finally paid off last week. He had the best pick, and look who's sitting in the 2nd position right now. Trying to run down Nick Indelicato. Cameron Rich out in the 2nd spot right now. Carlos looking like and Rich is closing. He's closing in on Nick Indelicato. It's inside a 2nd now. Let's see if Cameron Rich can come get him.
And Carlos and yourself, Dom, had a great I guess you could say, advantage over me because I would have picked a driver in the 22 car, which at the start of the season, I picked to drive that car. So when I was looking for a car number, I wanted to look for 22. That didn't come up, so I went with the 18 car. Not necessarily a bad pick for me. He started up front, but now has definitely fallen off the pace here as James Heater is in 31st lap down, but started 4th. But that's unfortunate. It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Cameron Rich is one of those guys that may not show the speed right away, but he can make his way through the pack. He can also just kind of sit back there and wait. Everyone else either make a mistake or let their tires wear off. And here he comes to the front, like I said, Massey right behind him. Other guy that's very prone to doing that. And there he comes again. He closed in down to 0.8 of a second. We'll see. We're closing in. Under 40 to go now here in this one.
Now, here's a big question, Dom. Are we going to see another caution to bunch everything back up? I think we are, but I want to hear what you think. Just you commentating for so long here at the ERSCA series.
I think right now I think we're gonna get in another green flag stretch like we just saw a little while ago. And once those tires really start to wear off, these cars are so hard to handle. I feel like we will probably see at least one more caution here before this gets down to the end. And then once that caution comes, these guys get some fresh tire out there. It's going to get intense. They're going to get after each other. They're going to know it's time to go. I wouldn't be surprised if that would bring out a second caution. But I'm saying at least one for now.
Cameron Rich there almost lost it in our favorite section for everybody. Seems like to lose it here going into turn 3, coming down the backstretch. Cameron Rich might have made a costly mistake right there, trying to hunt down the leader. But it didn't seem to affect him much. He gained 1/10 of a second on him. I mean, attaboy Rich. Holy cow. I thought he would have definitely lost some speed there, but he's gapped the 3rd place car of Quimby Scott and gained 1/10 on the leader. So, okay, shows what I know.
The lead continues to shrink for Cameron Rich. Steinmiller's come down pit road.
Yeah, that could be a great thing for Steinmiller. Why not? Because I think you're going to see now, you're going to see people follow him.
Yeah, here comes Nick Massey. He'll come down pit road. Now, few coming down to get tires.
Now, what do the leaders do right now? Do they try to stay out as long as they can? I think right now you have to follow what Nick Steinmiller, here was that his name? Hank Steinmiller does right now, because he's up there in the front. Now he's going to be probably a second or two faster than even the leaders right now. This is going to be interesting to see what the leaders do coming up here in the next few laps.
That puts it at about 37 laps for Nick Massey coming down pit road, and there you see him coming back onto the track as we look at Scott Crum. Caution flag.
Oh no, this changes everything. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, as we see the car right there of Josh Robinson. Man, I apologize. Josh Robin here there in the 8 car. He was 4 laps down at the time. Man, let's see what happened here. I bet he's going into turn 3 and gets loose. He's probably in turn 3 right now. Oh, yep. Okay. I finally got something right here on this broadcast. Oh my goodness. And the 2 car, it looked like right there, just clobbered him. Again, Harry Tillon, it looks like. Wrong place, wrong time right there. Man, just loses it there in turn 3. I tell you what, that turn, if this was Dover, that'd be the Miles to Monster turn for sure. But this is Atlanta. This is just crazy seeing the cars get that loose right there all the time. But holy cow. Now, of course, Steinmiller's going to stay out here, and everybody who just pitted. But man, this changes everything. I think that hurts Steinmiller more than anything. Yeah, I mean, that's a horrible break for those guys making green flag pit stops, and a great break for the drivers running up front, the Cameron Ridge, the Queemy Scotts. What a break for them, because they were on the decision now whether to pit or not, because if they didn't pit, they'd be just at a disadvantage here, just losing time there on the track. Yeah, Steinmiller. And Steinmiller's probably going to get the wave around, but that's not going to matter. It's still going to put him back there, probably in the 25th, 26th position. Not where you want to be in the closing sections of this lap, in this race, Dom.
Yeah, absolutely not at all. You want to try to get up there and get to the front, and so Nick Massey going to be one of those that are going to be in trouble as well.
Yeah, what an untimely caution for, oh man, I feel so bad for Hank Steinmiller, who's having a great run. And he's actually stuck, according to my timing and scoring, 2 laps down. That's not good.
It almost felt like, though, at least from my perspective, I would have almost had to stay out. Just the way the guys were struggling to hold on to the cars, the green flag run there. I get that they were trying to take a chance, but obviously it doesn't work in their favor at all now, and have to hope for a couple more cautions to get them back in it.
Yeah, the Cup Series is racing like Las Vegas this coming up weekend. Talk about a gamble. Steinmiller took a gamble, came up snake eyes. Man, that's such an unfortunate break. But to your point, Don, that's the risk he takes, taking that early green flag pit stop and trying to gain some position and forcing the leader's hands. You might get a caution and might bite you. On the other hand, if it worked out, he would have been up there in the top 5 right after the cycle of pit stops. You never know, and we'll never know right now. But this is going to be an interesting finish. I don't think we've seen our last caution. I really don't. Just based on the trend of this race so far, I'm not sure that's going to be the last caution of the day. So there might be a slight chance right there. If I was Hank Steinmiller, I'd be looking at that light at the end of the tunnel here. Yeah, you're a lap down, but a lot of racing to go. Anything could happen. Never give up.
All right, getting ready to go back to green here in the days gone by. 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nick Indelicato, your race leader. Kwame Scott in second. Cameron Rich, Ethan Burrell sitting on that second row. 2 guys to really watch back here.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about Ethan all day, but I know you mentioned him. There he is, right up there at the end when it counts.
Trupiano, too, one of the guys that have joined the series this year, and he's shown that he's a serious contender here. Fight for not only top 5s, but possibly wins. Got Crump in the mix, so you got a lot of big names back here. Jared Rexing's been a big name this year. Jared Mogard, all in the top 10. So you got Nick Indelicato and Kwame Scott. Nick Indelicato's a guy that can be up front and compete for wins, which has been snake bitten. Kwame Scott having the best run of the season so far up here in second.
Now, if you're Nick Indelicato, Dom, when that pace car goes off, if I were him, I'd do it right there. He just took right off. Back to green flag racing here at Atlanta. Nick Indelicato trying to get a good jump on him, going down to 30 laps to go here, and man, this is crunch time. This is when everybody's tempers. This is all take. Nobody's going to give anything up. And Delicato did exactly what he needed to do right there on this restart of this race. Holy cow, Kwame Scott is not going to see thing. That might have been an easy victory right there, but I'm going to try to win the war right here as he's chasing him down here.
It's just going to be interesting to see who's going to play this a little bit conservative and who's going to go for it all right now. There'll be a few guys back here like Tate Lytle who's going to save their tires a little bit, let these guys go race hard and see if this thing will play out green till the end and if he can pick them off late. He is really loose right now, though.
But I tell you, man, if I were, battle for the lead right here. Looks like Ethan Burrell fastest lap of the race, just ran his fastest lap of the race, the fastest lap of the race. I think you guys are right. He was conserving his stuff right here for this very moment, right now. Man, I mean, but yeah, I mean, you got to think too. I mean, is Nick and Della caution's out, as we see right here. Oh, and I think this we're being told Robert Hill was involved in that, if I'm not mistaken. Robert Hill Jr., whose car is just all torn up. It looks like it's been in a demolition derby and not an ERSCA race here. He is 33rd, 1 lap down. And off of turn 2 this time. Okay. And maybe just got on the gas a little too hard there, Dom. Uh-oh. A bit of collateral damage right there. Not too much, but enough for race control to bring out the caution. And now we stack him and rack him again. This is going to be a great finish, folks. Now, do you think Quimby Scott learned something there on that restart here? You think he's trying to get Indelicado's timing down for the restarts of this race? I think we're going to see a completely different restart than we did on the last restart, Dom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nick Indelicado will change something up. Johnny Thomas coming on pit road here. Well, it looks like Nick Massey as well. There is Massey coming down pit road. Joe Francis pitting right there, right just behind Nick Massey. So some of these guys that maybe saved their tires, not pitting earlier in the race, come down to get that last set. They're going to have between 25 to 30 laps by the time we go green once again.
This is going to be interesting to see here.
Definitely make things interesting in who can make their way through their pack. If it stays green, they might have a chance coming from about 20th. If they're short caution like that, though, change everything up.
Now, which position do you want to be in right now, Dom? Do you want to be in Nick's position or Kwame's position?
The restarts that Indelicado has been having, whether he's had the lead or started back there in third, I'd rather be Nick Indelicado right now than Kwame Scott.
All right, one more curveball. You talked about Ethan Borelli here running into third position right now, keeping an eye on him. Do you want to be Ethan right now, or do you want to be Indelicado?
It's a tougher question. I think Ethan can time up this restart a little bit better. I think the inside line seems to be getting a better launch on the restart. So obviously you want to be on that inside line, but I still think Indelicado's been timing these restarts so well. I think he's going to have the better start here, and I'd rather control the restart, maybe try to catch Burrell sleeping back there just a bit, or try to get him a little over too aggressive with how early Indelicado's been going. Maybe he tries a little later here, sees if he can get Burrell to try to jump and then go late.
Right, that's what I was kind of thinking here. He jumped the restart right when the pace car jumped on the pit road. I'm thinking Quimby Scott's banking on that. Kind of just hold back a little, see if he could catch Quimby Scott sleeping. It's kind of a snake in the grass move right there, but when you're leading the race with less than 30 laps to go, you kind of have to do stuff like that in order to see what your competition could do. They're anticipating him jumping to restart here as we have 1 lap to go as we go green next time by. I'm thinking you're right there, Dom. And Delicado maybe sees if he can catch these guys sleeping, or not necessarily sleeping, but maybe being overly aggressive here on the restart.
Yeah, he's gone right off the pace car twice in a row now. I think that's going to be too predictable. I'd watch for him to change it up. Maybe goes midway or really waits all the way till the end of that restart zone to go.
Right, and this is going to be interesting to see because the cars up front, if we've been normally seeing up front, but we seem, I'm looking at the time and scoring here as we go into turn 3, coming to the green. Cars like Jared Mogard here, who started 34th up there in the 11th position, having a great run. Opportunity for a top 10 finish here.
And Mogart, a very consistent competitor, one of the guys that usually finds himself around the top 10, if not competing up here for the top 5 and wins. But good to see Jared starting in the back, but making his way up here through the race, and we'll see if he can finish it out with 25 to go. We're going to go back to green here in the Dayz Gone By 200.
A little later of a start there from Indelicato, but not as late as I thought it would be as they go into turn 1 right here. With 24 laps to go in this race, no holds barred, gloves are off. In hockey terms, they've already said this is the code. We're dropping the gloves and sticks, and we're going to have an all-out brawl here. As we see cars going up to the high line right now, maybe trying to hunt their way up there as much as they could here on the restart.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be playing for a long green flag stretch here. Everybody's going to be on the throttle. Everyone's going to be pushing hard, and you can see Cameron Rich on the high side. Ethan Burrell losing some time down there in that low line. Not getting much help.
And Delicato, they're holding his line as we got Quimby Scott going there for the lead, or at least attempting to look. Maybe judged that a bit too early right there. But I think the impatience is gone right now as we cross the line with 22 laps to go here. This is gonna, I think this is gonna be a race where whoever makes the least mistakes here at the end wins it. Uh-oh. And we have a caution on the track here. And we're gonna get a view here on who that was. It sounds like, if I'm not mistaken, Lafferty, and I think that's possible. We're going to try to confirm that right now. But man, here we go. Cautions breed cautions, Dom. This is going to be the trend of the race here. Oh, whoops. Holy cow. Dom, I think we're going to see these quick little sprints all the way down to the finish, possibly maybe going into overtime here, not calling it. I'm trying to call my shot here as gingerly as possible. It'll be my first time broadcasting for you guys here at ERSCA. But holy cow, that seems to be the trend of this event right now.
Going to be interesting to see here what happens. Yep, and there he comes. Nick and Delicato going to come get some fresh tires.
Oh, that is crazy.
I had a feeling that he might be coming down pit road. He'll bring Cameron Rich, Ethan Burrell with him as well. So with about 20 laps to go and we go back green flag racing again.
And Quimby Scott stayed out. He's going to be a sitting duck here on this restart. I mean, yeah, he has control of the restart, but yeah, right. Wow, and a lot of drive. Now, this is going to be bad for Nick and Delicato because apparently like 10 to 12 cars stayed out, including Quimby Scott. 13 stayed out. Now he's got to battle traffic. This, I don't know, man. I don't know, Dom. I think this is going to be one of those things right now where you made your bed, now you got to lay in it, and Delicato having a fantastic run today has to battle traffic, and on top of that, impatient drivers.
There we go, right there. There's your pit strategy and where everybody's gone. Kwame Scott about 14 laps on his tires, so is Trupiano. Johnson in third. Carlos, David's not here, so do I got to do it for him? Because notice he's not here, and look who's running in the 4th place position right now. Damian Leininger in that 12 car, who seems like David always has a jinx against here. Having a solid run right now with the track position he just played there on that last pit stop. Francis has been on the charge of late here this second half of the race. And in 5th, Matthew Weeks, who we haven't really talked about at all, sitting in 6th. Johnny Thomas in 7th now. Nick Massey back in 8th. Changes everything right back around. And I think you were mentioning it. The tires in the previous caution not going to play, I don't think, too much of a factor. The caution's too close together here.
Yeah, with these short runs of 2 to 3 laps that we've been seeing the past couple cautions here, it's all about track position at this point. Quimby Scott may have made the best decision of the race, a race-winning decision here. However, I mean, you mentioned a lot of drivers that I haven't even mentioned because I've been so focused on drivers like Indelicato and Quimby Scott and who else here? Hank Steinmiller, who, by the way, here looks like, according to my score and the timing here, is on the lead lap here, though be it running 30 chance here. But man, we're seeing a lot of drivers here. Delicato has been having a great run, but now in 14th position. That, but on to your point, Dom, fresh tires. I mean, but is there going to be a long enough green flag stretch in order for that to make a difference here?
I think that's the point, that with these quick cautions, I don't think those new tires are going to make that much of a difference. I don't think these guys had a long enough stretch to wear those tires in to have them wear off enough for those fresh tires to let them blitz through the field like that. Time will tell, and we're about ready to go green once again. I think Kwame Scott, personally, my opinion is I think he might be in the worst position. All these guys have fresher tires than he does right now. But we'll see. We'll see if he can
Yep.
hold on and take this one to the checkered flag.
In his saving grace right now, he controls the restarts. That could be the difference between finishing up there in the first place position or finding yourself right back there where Indelicato is in the 14th position outside the top 10 here. This is going to be crazy coming to 17 to go when they take the green flag. Boy, Don, I don't know about you. I'm on the edge of my seat. I am so focused right now. This is so exciting.
Yeah, ERSCA always provides some great finishes, and it looks like this one is lining up to be another one. Pace car down and away. Kwame Scott going to lead us to the green flag.
And takes right off right there. Gap in the second place car, Andy Tripidano. And oh no! Right away, big wreck. Huge wreck.
Delicato involved, Perel around.
Oh no! Oh, and that's the risk you take for going from the first place position all the way back there in the field. That you take that exact risk right there, and that is so unfortunate. No.
Raxing also involved in that one as well. Carlos will have our replay here in just a few minutes. What exactly happened? Seconds, Carlos. Sorry, Carlos.
What do you think? Somebody just just hit the wall right there. The 21, it looks like, and everybody, it's just a ripple effect of bad luck right there. And I feel so bad for Nick, who's having a great run. And forgive me if I'm wrong here. That's Nick, and Delicato's the one who just always finds himself up in the right spot, but then something happens to produce a bad finish. And from the catbird seat there a few laps ago, now involved in a big wreck here with 17 to go. Man, that is unfortunate.
And Delicato just clipped him there. Looks like Scott Crump might be involved as well. Cameron Rich is the one that actually got into Indelicato and sent him around. Rexing, you can see pulling away from the scene there. Hank Steinmiller's just right up in front. I think he missed all of that, but quite a few cars with some heavy damage out of that one.
Yeah, and look who's still up front, Quimby Scott there. I think he's just given the trend of this, where it's coming down to right now, he might be in a good position here, unless somebody like Cooper Johnson here just hops him and just judges the restart well. But, man.
Matthew Bayuk also involved in that crash as well.
I don't know what the 21 was thinking right there. Who is the 21 car here? And man, he might have just got on it too quickly there, spun his tires. Unfortunately, just a bit too aggressive there on the restart, and wrong place, wrong time for a lot of those drivers. Now, Dom, in your experience here, does this happen a lot towards the end of these ERSCA races where people start spinning tires, or is this a product of what the car of tomorrow, this car from way back in the day brings to the table here.
The car of tomorrow has definitely prompted these tire spins a lot more this year than what we saw last year. Really haven't had too many crazy finishes in ERSCA, especially dating back to last year, except when we get to those super speedway races. It's usually pretty calm. We don't have big pileups or anything like that. We'll have some great finishes, but not a big wreck fest. So just these new generation of cars here for ERSCA have definitely made it more challenging on the drivers, which has made it more entertaining from the fans' point of view.
And I tell you guys what, if this is your first time watching an ERSCA race, kind of like I am right now, you've been missing out, because this is amazing, and I'm glad I had the opportunity tonight to call one of these races, and definitely want to watch these races again in the future. This is great. So coming down here, I think we're about at 14 laps to go, probably around 12 to 13 whenever we take the green flag. I'm going to ask you this again, Tom. You're Quimby Scott. Who would you rather be, Quimby Scott, or let's just pick Cooper Johnson right here, or Damian Linginger? I'm pretty sure I'm butchered that name right now, running into fourth position. Who do you want to be right now?
I don't know. I'm just a little leery on Kwame Scott's tires here. I feel like they're a little bit older than everyone else. They got a little fresher rubber behind them. He got a good restart last time, but I just feel like these guys are going to jump him here. Cooper Johnson might be one of the guys.
They got to get to turn 1 off of turn 2 in order to jump him, from what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing right now is just these cautions, breeding cautions here towards the end of the race. And it's going to get crazy here with 12 to go when they take the green flag here. It's money time. This is going to be a great finish here, and I'm just going to keep my eye on Johnny Thomas here, who started 24th up there in the top 10, been consistent all day. He might have a shot at a top 5, maybe a win, but what do you got here with a handful of laps to go there, Dom?
Let me tell you, I'm looking at that 7 car on the outside of row number 1. Andy Trupiano has been a guy that's been competitive in the first 3 weeks that we've been here on ERSCA, and might be a chance for him to take his first win.
All right. Now, I think Quimby Scott takes advantage of that pace car going off here and jumps it, as he did right there as we're on board. It looked like Cooper Johnson here. And this is going to be a great finish here. 12 laps to go. Anything can happen here, and if anything can happen, it will happen, as Quimby Scott pulls off to a 1/10 of a second lead. But I think you're right. They made it through that lap right now. They make it through this lap there, Dom. I think Quimby Scott, to your point, is going to be a sitting duck there.
Oh, they're wrecking Burrell around again.
Oh, no. And Quimby Scott is still in the lead. This is great. Holy cow. Wow, this is going to be an amazing, just circumstantial finish here as we see the replay here. Looks like a little bit of, I'm hearing maybe net code. Either way, a spin there coming out for turn 4 there. Let's see if we could get a better angle here. That's net code. That's net code 100% of the day. And I don't know why in this day and age, this is just me going to vent a little. In this day and age, with iRacing being as sophisticated of a race simulator as it is, that netcode still plays a factor in some of these cautions. It kind of blows my mind here. You think they'd figure it out by now. Unfortunate for the netcode, but however, Quimby Scott is still in the lead. This is going to be great. Is his name Quibby? Quimby? Kwame, oh my goodness, guys, I've been pronouncing that the whole race. Kwame Scott, my driver. Well, my second driver picked, I picked the 18 right here, but Kwame, my goodness, I've been saying Quimby the whole race, and you guys haven't corrected me. This was great. If you haven't already, grab yourself a beer and watch the end of this race because this is going to either be a great finish for Kwame Scott just squeaking one out, or we could see something very interesting here. You think anybody has any tires left there, Dom?
Yeah, I think there might be a few cars that have a set left, but right now I wouldn't give up any track position to go
No.
get them.
Unless you were maybe back there in the 20th position, why not, But if you're Kwame Scott, yeah, stay up there and hope for a caution every time you take the green flag. Expect it almost. And the top three are even there, Dom. I mean, maybe it isn't going to be as easy as one would think.
Here you go, Carlos bringing us the graphic once again. Joe Francis just slightly on newer tires.
But I wonder how the iRacing sim has with the heat engineering in there. If the tires get up to heat and they're cooling off, I mean, I'm sure it's up there. I mean, if it's anything like that code, it's probably off the charts and all crazy. But I think iRacing does a good job on their engineering and their aerodynamics and their tire wear, tire heat cycles. This is going to be interesting, Dom. I don't know about you. I'm excited to see what happens here.
25 laps on the tires for Scott, Trupiano, and Johnson. Joe Francis sitting back there, just 14 laps on his tires, most of them being under caution. So we'll see if Joe Francis can get up here, steal a win for one of these guys, three guys out in front of him.
It's going to take I think between now and to the end of the race being green for anybody to make a move on Kwame Scott here, because if he keeps doing what he's doing here, as I think we're at 1 to go here, he's going to just be riding here, just hoping for a caution every time they take the green flag here.
Yeah, luck's definitely been on his side so far. We'll see if that'll continue here. We'll have about under 10 to go.
Under 10 to go. This is where it gets crazy. I feel if you're one of these drivers up front, your heart's pounding, your palms are probably a little sweaty, or what do I know? They could be just ice cold and bleeding ice water here. These guys are really good at what they do. Either you're very good in iRacing, you take the time to develop the skill and perfect it, and it shows that these guys have been doing very well as the lights on the pace car come back on. So we're going to have at least one more lap of caution. One more lap for these guys to think about what they're going to be doing here to dethrone Kwame Scott there from the top position. Yeah, to Carlos's point.
Yep, sorry.
No, I'm talking over you. I'm the guest here. I feel like I've been taking up most of the airtime here, guys.
You're good. Carlos we were both trying to bring up the point Carlos just mentioned. This extra caution lap here is just one less lap for one of these guys behind Kwame Scott. Got a challenge for the race lead, and as we are inside 10 to go, it's going to be, every lap is going to be worth a lot here.
Right, and just based on the trend that we've been seeing, and now I'm no Larry McReynolds when it comes to late race trends here at these ERSCA races, but just the trend I'm seeing right now, that's not going to be our last time rolling around Atlanta under caution here tonight. But we'll have to wait and see. That's a very popular thing we like to say in our podcast. We'll have to wait and see, and this is just going to be one of those instances where I think we will have to wait and see. But if I was Kwame Scott, I'd be hopping on that gas the second that pace car turns into the pit. At this point, you gotta just go. Try to gap these guys. Coming to 6 to go here, working our 8th caution here. Maybe not the last one, but maybe I've been surprised before.
Flag going to be back in the air. Dayz gone by, 200, just 6 laps left to go. Kwame Scott draws the early race lead.
going into turn one, a big battle behind them for the, it looks like the 5th position there as Nick Massey is trying to advance up there. Has been having a great race all day there, Nick. But I mean, I don't know about you, but all eyes I feel are on Kwame Scott and Andy right there in the 2nd position here. Andy goes to the high side trying to gain a little momentum coming off of turn 4. And my goodness there, Dom, we completed the lap under green here in the closing laps here at Atlanta.
The first time we've done that in about 14 laps. Here comes Andy Trupiano to the inside.
But Kwame Scott there on the high side. He's got to have the momentum coming on.
Rucking in the back.
Oh, no. I think, holy cow. Oh, no.
It's Jared Bogart going around.
Oh, is that Elmo on fire? This is great. What a great production there Carlos is putting on. And this is great. As we see we're going to see the replay here. Oh, my goodness. Geez, you might have to be getting the jaws of life out there if this was a real life race car. Whoa. I don't know who was in front of him, but he saw that, and I think he had that little pucker effect. He might need to, it looks like the 84. Oh, no, that wasn't the 84. Trying to see here. Yeah, he spun inside, but right here, whoever that driver is in front, Bogart, I think I was told. Yeah, that guy, he was like, oh no, the 28 car. Oh, man. I'm thinking here, Dom, green, white, checkered. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll probably be close. It'll be interesting, too, if we can get to the white flag. Andy Trupiano was coming there for the race lead.
Now, explain the overtime rules just in the event that they need to. How does ERSCA do their overtime?
I believe we have 2 attempts at a green, white, checkered in overtime. After that, it is all said and done. So only 2 attempts. I think we should be still in actual regulation time. We shouldn't have to go to overtime here. But there's 2 attempts at a green, white, checkered once we reach overtime. We just have to get back to the white flag. Once we get back to the white flag, the next time back to the finish line will end the race. So.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I wish it was. I'm sure there was a reason why there aren't unlimited attempts at the overtime here in the ERSCA series, because I think everybody would just be going for it. We'd be here until the March 2nd if they had anything to say about it to try to get a win here. But holy cow! I mean, Kwame Scott right there in the catbird seat at the closing end of this race, at the right place at the right time throughout the course of the race, keeping the fenders clean. And I mean, the leader is where you want to be in that first place position, controlling the restarts is where you want to be right now, most definitely. And it looks like a green, white, checkered is on the board here, if I'm not mistaken here, just looking at the race notes here. So 2 attempts at overtime. Dom, do you think we see both overtime attempts, or do you think we just see one?
Trend we've been having here lately, I'd expect to probably have to go to the second one. Just guys having a little bit of trouble controlling these cars here tonight. Or tomorrow, giving us a little bit of issues here, but wouldn't surprise me to see another caution flag here before we're done.
Yeah, and if you're maybe Nick Massey right there running in the 4th position, what do you got to lose? I mean, checkers or wreckers, bring it home, go big or go home, right?
The guy's definitely going to be on it here. Massey, one of those guys that really likes to race people clean, though, so don't expect him to be dumping anybody or taking anybody out. He likes to earn it the right way, but he is definitely a guy that's going to be on it here. He's been conserving his car all race. He's put himself in the top 4 now, and he's going to try to go for the race win.
And I mean, he's starting on the outside there, and I believe he's in the 4th position, so he'll be starting on the outside. But maybe, I mean, Cooper Johnson right there, don't count him out either. And they're on the inside. Going back to lap, coming down here to the. I mean, this is a great first race to call. Again, thank you guys for having me. I dare say I couldn't have picked a better race to pick right now than here at Atlanta. And the day's gone by 200, I believe. It could be a 250. I mean, the rate we're going here, but I don't think we are here with it being limited attempts at this green-white checkered here.
All right, here we go. Kwame Scott's had all the luck on his side. Will he get it one more time? Ace-Car getting ready to pull down pit road. Andy Trupiano, Kwame Scott going to lead us to the green flag.
Day's gone by 250. It's more like time hasn't gone by fast enough for Kwame Scott. He wanted this race to be over a long time ago. Here we go.
A good jump there on Trupiano. Trupiano going to come to the outside, and they're wrecking already.
Oh, no. Here we go. Here we go. That was attempt one. And that's a big one. There's no no. Oh, no.
Rawls involved in another one. Scott Crump. That one looked like we were at Daytona the way they were piling up.
My goodness. I've seen now, if you see a burning Elmo on your screen, that is not what you want to see. That means all chaos has ensued here at the racetrack. Oh, no. Now, if you're Kwame Scott, you're thinking, I just need that to happen one more time, and I can win this race. And that happened a little ahead of us there, but maybe a product of wheel spin again there, Dom?
Yeah, it looked like it was, and it looked like Jared Raxing was the one that had the trouble with it.
Oh, wow. Maybe
Oh, so it was ahead of Raxing. Raxing is one of the many casualties caught up in it.
it looked like I'm trying to figure out who that is, the 06 or something, the 24? Maybe hooked someone, and I don't know. Don't really have.
06?
Or the 24.
Pearl, maybe?
It's tough to tell.
It might have been Whirl in that 06 that spun the tires ahead of Rexing. Rexing had nowhere to go, and it got turned down into the middle of the back and spun everybody out.
Man, this is going to be a crazy finish, but if you're Kwame Scott, you're hoping for that to happen one more time. All right, let's see here.
Whirl here. Looking to the inside of Nick Massey off the restart.
Oh. There it is.
Whirl spins tires. Lido gets into the back of him, and then around he goes. Leininger gives him a shot. Rexing has nowhere to go.
Neither does anybody else behind him from what I've seen. That's a... And, man, that's just, like, to your point, Dom, a Daytona style wreck, just a big one here in the closing laps. That's a great shot.
Robert Hill is saying to watch from his in-car camera. Usually when we get these requests, it's pretty insane watching someone either just sneaks right through or there's a pile-up right in front of them.
And I wish we had the ability to listen to a spotter or something like that, communication, because I think that'd make it more interesting. Of course, maybe sometimes not, just based on what I'm seeing. Man, that is such a chaotic, crazy thing. You know, these drivers. All right, here we go. Green flag's out. Seems to be going fine. Pandemonium ensues. Yeah, good call, Robert Hill, for that request. Somehow he was Moses parting the red sea right there. But man, I tell you, Dom, if you're Kwame Scott, you're just thinking one more time for people to lose their stuff. Of course, it gives himself the opportunity one more time to spin his tires on restart, just to mess up somehow, and for everybody else behind him to pounce. But just based on how he's been driving all day, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a really big concern for him.
He's got a big challenger right behind him in that inside line. Nick Massey able to get around for that third spot before the caution came out. So I think if there's Tripiano has shown that he can catch him, Nick Massey might be sitting right there ready to lurk as long as they can go green. Going to be the biggest part, and that's been a problem here for the last 20 laps.
Yeah, it's just always at the end of the race. It seems like these cautions breed cautions, and will we see it again? It doesn't really matter. If we see another caution, that's it. The race is over. Who's ever out front is out front. But I think right now, if you're Andy Tripiano, you don't hold anything back. You try to time this perfectly, because if the caution does come out, even if he's an inch in front of him, field is frozen and he wins. So we'll see what happens here. This is going to be an exciting finish here on the Dayz Gone By 200 here at Atlanta for the ERSCA series. Now, Dom, $1 million question here, and I think I know the answer here. Do they make it back around without wrecking?
I don't know. I thought they were going to make it a little bit farther on that last restart without it.
I thought they were too.
Don't think we've ever had a race shortened due to cautions before the race called before we actually completed it. So
let's find out what happens.
Flag in the air. Kwame Scott gets a launch.
Kwame Scott doing exactly what he needed to do. He's doing exactly what he needed to do.
They're wrecking. They are wrecking.
Oh, that's it. Kwame Scott. Oh, big wreck.
That's a big one.
And it doesn't matter. Kwame Scott is saying, thank you, Lord, for that one. He wins. He wins. What a race. What a finish. Kwame Scott doing it. And doing it in style. Awesome drive by that team, staying up there all day, deciding to stay out while everybody else seems pits. And now we're on the white flag. I was hoping to call this under green flag conditions there, Dom, but awesome first race for me here in the ERSCA series. Definitely like to be back if you guys will have me. Hopefully I didn't talk over you too much, but I've just been so excited with the product that I'm seeing right here. Hey, I bet Nick Massey's sitting there saying, if it would have gone green, I would have had you.
Yeah, and we'll bring him up here in just a moment, talk to him, but Massey will come home second. He's still trying to clean up some of the cars. There will be checkered flag.
And Kwame Scott, how about him? I pronounced his name most of the race wrong, and he did it. Very well done. That was awesome. It's a bummer that it ended under caution, because I think we would have seen a great finish. Yeah, but we saw, regardless, a great race here. Let's see what happened here to bring out that final Oh, man. The 0-5 looked like he just didn't care anymore. But, I mean, that was a rough turn. Yeah, I mean, he probably spun his tires, but... Oh, okay. Well, I was a premature in that one. The 05 was an innocent victim in that. But, man... that's unfortunate, but here we go. Hey, that's a clean car too, Dom. I mean, hardly any speck of damage on there.
Kwame Scott gonna burn it down here for his first win.
Oh, this is his first win.
Season.
Oh, okay, so of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Up there all day, doing exactly what he needed to do here in the closing laps. Nick Massey, good run, and Joe Francis, Cooper Johnson finishing 5th. Joe Francis finishing 4th. Cameron Rich, we haven't really talked about him all day, or at least I don't think I have. Running very consistently up there, starting 5th, finishing 7th. Who sticks out to you there, Dom? Because, I mean, to me, I mean, it's the Nick Massey and everybody just doing that.
I think it's Cooper Johnson. Cooper Johnson having a good run here tonight.
Yeah, started 20th.
Looks like he finishes with a top 5. So Nick Massey, one of the normal guys up here competing, as I said, 2020 champion. But yeah, Andy Trupiano also having a good run. Francis a strong run, but to me, out of the top 5, Cooper Johnson the biggest surprise.
Yeah, it started 20th, finishing 5th. Great run for him, great strategy all race long to keep himself up there in contention. Unfortunate, I mean, I just still feel so bad. And I'm trying to find them right here, where he ended up here. Nick and Delicato, I mean, finishes 15th after dominating the majority of the race, made that pit stop there, put himself in a bad position there in the pack when we started seeing all those cautions. That's so unfortunate. It was really unfortunate to see, but man, I can't wait to, I mean, if we get an opportunity to talk to Kwame Scott here, what a great performance by him. Keeping it up there and keeping his fenders clean all day. Did great. Brad Kress finishing in the 12th position, starting 26 here. And Johnny Thomas started 24th and eked out a top 10 there at the end. Our pole sitter, Chris Worley, finishes 11th. And it looks... And moving down here in the lower series, just bad luck for a bunch of these guys here. Hank Steinmiller finishing 29th after having a great run.
All right, while we look through the rest of the results here, let's pull in our 3rd place finisher from tonight, Andy Trupiano. Andy, we're up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, yeah, I got you.
All right, man. You started 2nd there on that restart. Thought you might have added something for the race lead there, but it seemed like it was just a chaotic night tonight. How hard was it to handle that race car tonight?
Oh yeah, it was pretty hard, and it's a ton of fun, and low down force, lots of horsepower. I mean, it's definitely tough getting the power down on the restart. I felt like I got a really good start the second to last caution, and then I just blew it on the last one. But hey, it's just part of the deal.
Andy, this is Matt Beamer, guest commentator here at ERSCA tonight. Outstanding run. Congratulations on the 4th place run. I'm sure, or 3rd place run, I should say. Not sure that's where you wanted to finish there, but given the timing of those cautions that all fell into place right there at the end, how do you feel about tonight?
Hey, I'm happy with how it ended up for me. I mean, I'll take a 3rd any day. I definitely would have liked, a few laps to, try my hand at getting the lead, but hey, it's just racing, so it's part of it.
Outstanding answer, Andy. That was great fun to watch. I'm surprised I've missed so much of this throughout my time here involved with Belly Up and ERSCA. Outstanding job and congratulations.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Andy, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank on your car for your 3rd place finish tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to AI Manager, Blacktop Software Studios, and my team, Lowline Racing.
All right, congrats on your 3rd place finish tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Right,
very humble right there, Andy is.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll allow us to bring in our 2nd place finisher here, Nick Massey. Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, it's Matt and Dom up here in the booth. Nick, I know I've seen you over the last 2 seasons, a little bit of a closer, waiting for the race to come to you there at the end of the race, and all of a sudden caution's gotten your way. You think you would have been able to get up there and get Kwame if you would have finished this one under green?
I don't know. I had a couple last fresher tires, but there were guys on tires coming behind us too. So I don't know. I think if that went green there on that last green white checkered, I might have had one shot at him. But Kwame was good all night. He's a teammate. awesome to see him get his first win in ERSCA. So props to him. And Andy too. I mean, Andy's a new face to ERSCA, so it's nice to see him have a good run too. And his, I think it's just his second start, but.
Hey, Nick, this is Matt up here, guest commentator here tonight from ERSCA, for ERSCA here, I should say. Awesome job. I know you're last series season champion, but just looking at the race here, it just seemed like you guys were on ice the whole time. I mean, it was tough to hang on to those cars, especially going into turn 3 with a lot of wheel spin here. You started 10th, finishing second. How did you just manage the pace of the race right there?
Yeah, I mean, I got limited practice too, for sure. But it was, I mean, it was white knuckle the whole time. I mean, they're going down the straightaways through the, the tri-oval was probably the sketchiest part of the track. There was a couple times I almost wadded it up over there. But yeah, I mean, the car was just nuts. Just trying to save tires, not spin out on the straightaways. I feel like were the most treacherous part. Just getting the power down.
Right.
But yeah, it was wild for sure. I definitely we had those long runs there, and it was definitely white knuckle the whole way.
Well, you did an outstanding job. And before we let you go, anything else? Would you like to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, a shout out to Kwame, and Josh Adams too, teammate. But awesome to see Kwame get his first win. I know he's had the speed to do it, just hasn't had things fall his way. So it's cool to see him get one. Shout out to Harpoon Designs for putting the paint together. Brantley, always good. You guys for putting on the broadcast, and hopefully it was entertaining. I know it was a handful tonight for sure.
Well, thank you for putting on a good show, Nick, and hopefully I'll get to call another race with you running up there again.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You as well. Man, I tell you, just a field full of talented drivers, and especially doing e-racing, that you don't get to feel the car, but it's really just on the force feedback there. A lot of talent right there in that field there, Dom.
Yeah, absolutely, and it always produces a great show here at ERSCA, and picking up his first career win here tonight, Kwame Scott will bring in your race winner here tonight from Atlanta.
Outstanding. Hey, Kwame, this is Matt Beamer up here in the ERSCA booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your first win, I believe, in the 2022 ERSCA series. This is my first time calling a race ever on ERSCA, and you put on a heck of a show there. And being out front, especially there at the end, was the difference maker. But I got to know, when the drivers were pitting and you decided to stay out with about 20 laps to go, what were you thinking?
Oh my God. I was telling my team, I was like, oh no, we made the wrong call. That was it. I should have pitted right there. And then next thing you know, on that restart, there was a wreck and it collected a few of them. And I guess I was lucky that I didn't pit with them, because
Right.
I was going to. I was really going to. But
It's sometimes better to be lucky than good, Kwame. You ran a heck of a race, definitely up there a lot of the time, and especially when it counted there at the end. You did a great job, man.
yeah, thanks. It was tough. That's not an easy track, and especially in this car. It's I don't know. I feel like I drive this thing better than I drive the next gen, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah.
Well, you did it when it counted, Kwame. You did an outstanding job. Again, this is my first time calling any race whatsoever as far as ERSCA and watching ERSCA, and you definitely put yourself on my radar, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know if Dom has a question for you or not.
Kwame, just want to say congratulations on the win here tonight. Do you have anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Really my team, RRM. They've been with me ever since the start of my iRacing journey, and I mean even before that. I mean, we were on consoles, racing the console NASCAR games before all this, and this led all the way to this. And yeah, I really gotta give it off to them for just being with me all the way from the jump. So
How does it feel to finally get that race win?
it's good. I promised the team boss, Mr. Josh Adams, I promised him that I was gonna get 2 wins this year. So yeah, I guess I'm off to a pretty good start.
All right, one down. We'll be watching for that second one. Congrats on your win tonight, Kwame.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Man, outstanding. I just couldn't believe just how great Kwame did, and I mean, Dom, better to be lucky than good sometimes, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And Kwame definitely had the speed to be good here tonight, but put himself in that track position. He talked about it there in that pit stop. Took the chance, and tonight it worked out. Somewhere down the road, it might not work out as well, but it was good enough for him to pick up his first win.
Most absolutely so. And I must say before we go off the air, guys, I know this was a last minute substitute for me to get called up here, and I volunteered to do it, not knowing what to expect. But what an amazing race! What an amazing group of people! Good drivers, good production, good commentator. And Dom, I'm sorry if I stepped over your toes too many times.
Matt, you were fine. We appreciate you stepping in here. I know I was a little late to the party as well, but appreciate you filling in for David here tonight. Glad we could have you up here in the booth. And Carlos, as always, killing it back there with 3 Wide TV and putting us out here with Belly Up Sports and ERSCA. So we appreciate both of you. And we're gonna wrap it up here from Atlanta for the Days Gone By 200. Congrats to Kwame Scott, our race winner, and we'll see you again next week right here on Belly Up Sports with 3 Wide TV. Another race on the ERSCA season.